As a really brief reminder, the reason we're here, this is the legislative body of the town. Only you, in this format, as town meeting, have the power to pass bylaws, appropriate funds, and actually tax the people of the town and to authorize the spending of the money. The select board, even though they're a board of people, are not the legislative body. They're the executive branch. You're the legislative body here tonight. So it's crucial that you're here, and I thank you. I'm going to assume, this is a smaller crowd tonight, I'm going to assume that you're all veterans, so just some really quick reminders. I won't belabor these points, but please, no crosstalk. No asking a question of somebody in the audience and expecting them to answer it for you on the spot when you're at the mic. No coming up to the mic and asking questions of specific people. No shouting out an answer from the audience or thinking that you only have a really quick, short thing to say, so you just want to say it from where you are, because it's a quick answer to a question. If you have something to say, if you have a question, you have an answer, an opinion, please seek the mic. You'll be recognized, and please say that. When you speak, please come up to a mic. If you want, you can come up early if you know you want to speak. If you're unable to come down to the mic, please raise your hand. We'll recognize you in place, and one of the bailiffs can bring a microphone over to you if you have challenges coming down to the mic. As a reminder, no applause, no booing, no name calling. Even applause restricts debate. Even applause shows you're supporting an opinion that somebody else may not have. There's lots of time to actually express your support of an idea and what people say. That's why we vote on everything that we do here. But that kind of vocal support does quell debate, and a good town meeting requires people being willing to get up and speak and share their opinion, even if they're a little shy about it. When we vote, you've got wristbands. I might do voice votes as a first attempt. We might do just a raise hands, use the hand with a wristband on it. You also have colored cards that say yes or no. Please hold on to those. If we do a ballot vote, you'll be using those. Don't lose them. If we do a ballot vote, I'll explain a little more about how we do that and what you do with the cards, but please don't lose those cards. If we do one of those ballot votes and you have challenges coming down to the front, don't worry, we can have a bailiff assist you with the voting for that as well. When you're at the mic, I've got a little note here that says eat the mic. That was my friendly reminder, don't talk like this. Don't hold the mic down here and look around. Put the mic right in front of your mouth when you speak, when you're at these. These mics really are designed for you to be super close. It feels awkward, but you want to almost feel like it's going to touch your lips while you're talking. We use town meeting time and a collection of prior votes to govern the town meeting, and we're joined here by town council tonight. So if we have questions as to procedure, those are the rules we follow, and town council will help make sure we get it all right. If you have an amendment to something or you want to make a motion that's more than just procedural, we do need those in writing ahead of time. If you need time to write up a motion to amend something, just let us know. We'll wait for you. I know everybody wants to get home, but we absolutely have the time to get this right and to make sure everybody can participate. Really quick announcement before we all start the meeting as well. Nomination papers. We're not going to wait until the town caucus to have nomination papers available. The town clerk has let me know that those will be available in December. So if you want to run for something, first week of December, you can get nomination papers. Just check the website for when the town clerk's office hours are and go on in then, or give her a call if you can't do it during those hours. Any questions about the procedure tonight? Yes.
You just said that people can't ask questions of a specific person, but in the past, we've allowed people who come up to ask a question of up here and it be answered or not. But they're allowed to ask questions. They can't just yell at each other, correct?
People can certainly ask questions, any questions they want. That doesn't mean somebody on the stage that has the answer can immediately answer it. When that person is done speaking, if they have 5 questions, I know it feels awkward, they got to ask all 5 questions and hope people who are going to answer those remember them. They then sit down, and other people who have the answers can seek the mic to share those. It is not an opportunity for just somebody has a question, somebody on the stage answers it, they have another question, somebody else answers it. That's actually crosstalk, and that's what we try to avoid here. Other questions? Seeing none, by tradition, we start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Would those who are able and would like, please rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance, sorry, it's on my right over here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. The hour to which the town meeting was called having arrived, a quorum being present, and having received a copy of the return warrant, the town meeting is now in order. Article 1, to pay a bill from a prior year.
Excuse me?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town pays a fiscal year 2025 unpaid ambulance repair bill from fiscal year 2026 EMS Enterprise Fund. Matt from EMS will address this.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
And Mr. McGee, did you have a, did you want to speak briefly? No, it should already be on. No. Oh, sorry.
Bill McGee, 9 Main Street. Mr. Moderator, make a motion that we limit debate to 3 minutes per person on any of the items on the agenda.
Second that emotion.
Thank you. There is a second. We are in the middle of debate on another item, but we can certainly have a motion that comes up to regulate the proceedings. As a reminder, so we just had a motion to limit debate.
That's right.
That is not debatable, but it does require a 2/3 vote. I'm going to ask for a vote now. All's in favor of limiting debate to 3 minutes per speaker, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Clearly passes.
At this time, I'd like to make an amendment to let you know what the unpaid balance is. The unpaid balance is $4,654.38, and this will be coming out of the EMS Enterprise Funds.
So the motion would now read, I move that the town pay the fiscal year unpaid ambulance repair bill of,
$4,654.38.
from fiscal year 2026 EMS Enterprise Fund. That's a motion to amend the motion in front of us. Is there a second for that?
Second.
Is there any discussion on the amendment? Again, this is not on whether or not we pay the bill, it's just on amending the motion to say the amount of the bill that we're paying. Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. Passes unanimously. Returning to debate on the actual item itself. This does require a 9/10 vote, as a reminder. So if it's not unanimous, we'll just do a counted hand vote if it's not unanimous. Any debate on the item? Seeing none? Or,
Do you want to speak to?
sure, yep.
If I could, Mr. Moderator, good evening, everybody. Real quick, just so you understand what happened, we had a significant repair bill on one of the ambulances. It went into a back and forth through the change in fiscal year to ensure that we weren't overpaying for the repairs. We were able to settle with the vendor. They just weren't able to get us the invoice for this amount before it was due to pay. So not asking for any new money, we actually corrected the invoice and we're in the right spot. Thanks for hearing me out.
Thank you. Further debate? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. Passes unanimously. Article 2, to rescind a prior action.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town rescind authority under Article 4 of the November 13, 2024 special town meeting to acquire 546 Northfield Road, Route 10, in the town of Bernardston, and to rescind the appropriation of the sum of $2,100,000 to fund said acquisition and place the funds in the Emergency Services Facility account.
Second.
There was a second?
Second.
Debate on the item. Any debate? Seeing none? Would all those in favor please signify by saying aye? Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Passes unanimously. Article 3, to see if the town will create a fire department stabilization fund.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town create a fire department capital stabilization fund in accordance with the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40, Section 5B.
Thank you. There is a second. Debate on the item.
You want me to explain?
Yep.
The fire department would like to create this account. What we intend on using it for is solely for the purpose of putting smaller amounts of money for a longer amount of time away to buy fire apparatus so we don't hit the town all at once with a $800,000 or $1 million wish. So that's what we're looking for.
Thank you. Yes.
I wanted to clarify, because I just was reminded of this myself. We're just creating the fund right now. We're not putting any money into it. It's there so that it can be used for a collection point.
Any further debate? This does require a 2/3 vote. Creating a stabilization account takes a 2/3 vote. Would all in favor please signify by saying aye? Aye. All opposed, please say nay. Passes unanimously. Article 4, to acquire land.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town acquire by purchase a parcel of land containing 0.3 acres, more or less, with the improvements thereon known as 41 Main Street, Northfield, being Assessor's Map 31A-A8-1, described in a deed recorded with the Franklin County Registry of Deeds in Book 1215, page 205, and a parcel of land containing 2.3 acres, more or less, with the improvements thereon, known as Assessor's Map 31A-A9-1, described in a deed recorded with the Franklin County Registry of Deeds in Book 1215, page 205, for general municipal purposes, including for a public safety facility, and further transfer $275,000 to fund said acquisition, including legal costs, from the Emergency Services Facility account, and to further authorize the Select Board to enter into all agreements and execute on behalf of the town any and all instruments as may be necessary or convenient to carry out the intent of this article.
Second. Thank you. There was a second. Debate on the item. Any
So
debate?
I can just briefly give an introduction. So the building committee, as you know, has been hard at work for over almost 2 decades. And since 2023, with the 2/3 not passing, having 3 departments in 1 facility, the building committee under Skip Donnell's leadership started taking a look at individual solutions for the individual departments, hoping that that would be a more palatable approach and that would structure different solutions at different points in time. And as we've said in the past, really the focus is on fire because it's such a big operation and has such big vehicles. But the easier solution, as we thought last year with the Valley Concrete purchase, was EMS. They don't have the same garage needs. They have different needs, different hazmat needs, for example, than fire. So we're proceeding with the EMS solution, and we've come full circle back to 41 Main Street. And as you'll see in the following article, which we'll discuss later, is that 39 Main Street is part of this overall proposal. So I'd like to invite the EMS chief, Matt Wolkenbright, if that's okay, with the moderator to just briefly speak to it and then see if there's any questions. And I
Certainly.
think we already mentioned that Chief Wolkenbright is a non-resident of Northfield, and so we're assuming there's no opposition to hearing
Thank
him
you.
speak.
That's correct. Is there any objections to a non-resident speaking? Who's our EMS chief? Seeing none? Yes.
Thank you all. All right, well, good evening, everybody, again. My name's Matt Wolkenbright, and I wrote a bunch of notes because last year everybody was very specific about time management, so I'm going to do my best. The honor and privilege of serving you as your EMS chief. We're not talking tonight simply about land or buildings. We're talking about the foundation on which Northfield EMS will stand for decades to come, about where help comes from when someone dials 911 on the worst day of their life. After having completed my first year in this role, I've come to deeply appreciate our past and the responsibility we carry into the future, and I'm grateful for the chance to share that perspective with you all tonight. Northfield EMS has been a part of this town since the late 1980s when emergency medical response transitioned from the Kidder family-run ambulance service. After having faithfully served Northfield and the surrounding region for 30 years, the Kidder family embodies a legacy of service, neighbors helping neighbors, answering the call at all hours, and laying the foundation for what emergency medical care in our towns would eventually become. When Northfield EMS took shape, it did so because those who came before me had the vision, courage, and commitment to carry that legacy forward and build upon it. My predecessors didn't just create an ambulance service, they grew it, strengthened it, and infused it with the same spirit of community that defined the generations before them. It was their leadership that advanced the service to the paramedic level of care, bringing a higher standard of emergency medicine to our residents at a time when very few small towns could do the same. For many years, Northfield EMS operated out of the fire department, sharing tight quarters and making the most of limited space. As their call volume increased, the service grew in complexity and size. They outgrew the space at the fire department and around 2012 transitioned into the leased building at 41 Main Street, where we are now. It wasn't perfect, but they all made it work. That's what EMS does. It was their dedication that secured and renovated our current station. Much of it was completed through community donations, volunteer labor, and grassroots fundraising. They took an aging building and transformed it into a home for EMS through sheer determination and community pride. I also want to make sure we honor the countless donated hours given by the men and women who served on the call for decades, volunteers who left warm beds, family dinners, children's events, and important moments because someone in the community needed their help. Their sacrifices are not just stories of the past, they're the legacy we carry forward today, and they're the reason Northfield EMS stands where it does. The Emergency Services Building Committee spent years evaluating options prior to my tenure for a combined public safety facility. They evaluated dozens of potential locations. In that evaluation, one thing came clear. 41 Main Street is actually a top location. It's central, it's accessible. Unfortunately, however, it's not large enough to support the combined fire, police, and EMS vision that my predecessors had. Over more than a decade of real-world response, however, we have proven that it works exceptionally well for EMS. About a year ago, I stood right here before you all and shared what was a true unicorn solution. We thought we had the Valley Concrete property. It had been identified, it had been negotiated diligently, and we thought we were going to move into that home. And in the moment I stood here last year, we all remembered the optimism and hope. And then, unfortunately, the disappointment that followed after that, which was out of all of our control. We didn't waver. We went back to the building committee and reopened all of the investigations, looked at all those sites, and continued searching for viable options. One that would meet our operational needs, zoning requirements, and long-term sustainability. Throughout all of that, 41 Main Street remained that strong candidate for EMS use. After a review of locations, the building committee ultimately recommended that the town, through the select board investigating purchasing 41 Main Street, and Article 4 is the result of that work. I'm almost there. As the work continued, tragedy struck next door to us. Our neighbors on June 13th of this year at 39 Main Street suffered a disaster. They had a significant fire in their home that displaced not just the owners, but the tenants who lived on the first floor. Their lives changed forever. Even in the face of significant loss as they stayed with us in our garage for the night.
Time is up, if you could wrap up pretty quick.
My apologies. They came back to us and offered the 39 Main Street property. Approving these articles individually will give us a conforming zoning, conforming lot that will meet all zoning bylaws. It'll allow us to build a parcel for use going
You need to
forward.
wrap up. I do
And
apologize.
I thank you.
Thank you. Any further debate?
Yeah, I can add some.
Seeing none?
No, I wanted to
Yes, sorry.
give some more information. So currently, we're voting on the place where the EMS currently is. We are voting on whether we will purchase it. It's currently a non-conforming lot, and the lot behind it is a lot of wetlands. So as the select board has hired a wetlands person to go in and mark the wetlands, and combining 39 and 41, we'll get to the voting on the other one in a second, will make all three of these non-conforming lots conforming. They did some, do they have this in their thing? Oh, okay, so you guys have this, I'm sorry, I thought you didn't have it. If you look on number 15 at the very end, the difference between the taxes and the rent, there'll be a net savings of expenditure of $9,600 for the purchase of those three. Sorry, I didn't think they had that.
Any further debate? Seeing none? This does require a 2/3 vote, just as a reminder. But seeing no further debate, would all those in favor please signify by saying aye? Aye. All opposed, please signify by saying nay. Passes unanimously. Article 5, to acquire another piece of land.
Good evening. I move that the town authorize the select board to acquire by gift a parcel of land containing .25 acres, more or less, with the improvements thereon known as 39 Main Street, being Assessor's Map 31A-A7-1, described in a deed recorded with the Franklin County Registry of Deeds in Book 7992, page 256, for general municipal purposes, including for a public safety facility, and to accept a deed for such said property, and to transfer, and to further to transfer $105,000 to said fund, to fund said acquisition, including inspections, demolition, design costs, and legal costs from the Emergency Services Facility account, and to further authorize the select board to enter into all agreements and execute on behalf of the town any and all instruments as may be necessary or convenient to carry out the intent of this article.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Thank you. Discussion on the item. Seeing none? Would all those in favor please signify by saying aye? Aye. Would all opposed please signify by saying aye? Both work, aye and nay, yay or nay. It all works as long as you're signifying that you're in favor when I say the first one and opposed when I say the second one, we're good. It does pass unanimously. Thank you. Article 6, to transfer care, custody, and control of certain properties.
Yes, I make a motion that, I move that the town transfer the care, custody, and control of certain properties, being Assessor's Map 24-D1-1, Parker Avenue, Assessor's Map 24-D2-1, Parker Avenue, Assessor's Map 24-D3-1, Parker Avenue, Assessor's Map 24-D4-1, Parker Avenue, Assessor's Map 24-D5-1, Great Meadow Road, Assessor's Map 24-D9-1, Rear Parker Avenue, from the official board or commission having the care, custody, and control thereof, from the purpose for which the properties are currently held, to the select board for the purpose of conservation, and to dedicate the properties to Article 97 of the Articles of Amendment of the Massachusetts Constitution, and authorize the select board to take actions appropriate to effect such a purpose.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on the item.
I can give just a minuscule amount of background. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Joe Gravelin, Old Ferry Road. I wholeheartedly support this. It's an amazing piece of property that's been healing itself for decades now. If you're a birder and you like to watch birds, if you want to walk in the Great Meadows and watch Northfield turn green in the spring when the crops are planted, this is an amazing stretch of property. Article 97, I think, is the perfect place for this property to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? Yes, B.
I just wanted to provide a little background and to say thank you to folks who followed up after the last town meeting. In terms of all of the properties that have been languishing, and there's approximately 26 of them, on the tax rolls from the 70s, I think what we've tried 2 town meetings before was to deal with all of them at once and to move them into the care and custody of the select board, and that didn't go over very well. And the feedback was to get other committees involved and to also take a look at just chunking out 5 or 6 properties that have like qualities to them so that it would make sense to people what we were doing with them, as opposed to any number of different actions that could be taken on the properties. We settled on these because these seem to be the easiest group. And if I put on my historical commission hat for a moment, these are just south of the Center Cemetery, which has been a focus of Lindsay McCarthy and Sandy Campbell on the Historical Commission. They're about halfway through cleaning cemetery stones down there with the help of the VFW and other volunteers. So we'd like to just, and we made a recommendation that the select board do this. And the RecCom has looked at the fields. They're too wet for recreation. I know Joanne McGee, I've spoken to her about whether or not we could have done a land trust or something along those lines from open space. So I just wanted to let you know that we took those suggestions to heart, and thank you. And that's the reason why we just are doing these properties for one specific action. Thank you.
Further discussion? Yes.
Conscom also looked, and this is all the properties, for those of you who don't know, they're all connected, and they're down, they used to be an old dump. So that's what Joe Gravelin meant when he said it's healing itself, it's recovering. So it's not land that could be used profitably to build on or anything like that, because once you disturb the land, then it's a big problem. So this is a good use, protecting it and Article 97 keeps it from being developed, and regular kind of homeowners couldn't afford to develop it because of the remediation that would be necessary. So it wouldn't be a potential tax thing for us.
Thank you. Further debate? Seeing none? All in favor, please signify by saying yea. Yay. All opposed, please signify by saying nay. Passes unanimously.
Now you're changing the rules on us.
Article 7, transfer funds for HVAC improvements.
All right, so I'm going to do the motion and discuss. I motion that the town transfers $75,444 from free cash to pay for HVAC improvements at the Dickinson Memorial Library.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion?
All right, so Article 7 is asking for funds from free cash to cover the replacement of our dying AC system that was installed in 1999. We have had several expensive repairs the past few summers, and the coolant that this system uses is about to become unavailable. This project will replace the current AC system with a mini-split system. We will have 2 condensers, which are the outdoor units, and then 6 air handlers, which are the indoor units. This replaces the 5 current indoor AC units that we have and adds a unit to the local history room, which right now there's nothing, so our archival materials will be protected. This new system will replace the current AC, but will also become our heat for most of the cold season. This will bring down our oil usage in the winter and our energy costs overall, even with electricity rates going up. These units are more efficient than our oil system, and then in the summer, they are more efficient than our current AC system. So the project is a total of $85,000. I have received a grant from a regional library foundation for almost $10,000. So I am requesting $75,000 from free cash. I am hoping we don't actually have to spend this much. I will be submitting a CPA application to cover the unit in the local history room because it's protecting our historical materials, and that's about $6,000 or $7,000. And then with the help of the Energy Committee, I will be applying for $22,500 in rebates. That will bring the total cost down to $46,000. So we're hoping that is what will actually come out of free cash.
Thank you. Further discussion or debate? Seeing none? All those in favor, please signify by saying yea. Yay. All opposed, please say nay. Passes unanimously. Article 8, funds for 2 flagpoles.
Good day. Bob Henry, 137 Watermaker Road. I make the motion. I move that the town transfer $7,000 from free cash to pay for 2 flagpoles, flags, external halyards, solar lights, and any incidental costs for installation of flagpoles at the town hall and at the library.
Is there a second? Second. Thank you. Debate. Did you want to speak first to it, Mr. Henry?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I'm looking for my paper. I'm a little lost here. Bear with me. Guess I dropped it. Here we go. Excuse me. Again, good day, and thank you, and I appreciate your consideration of this. It's near and dear to my heart, as it is to many veterans and community members. I'm going to read you just a quick synopsis of where I'm at on this. As a fellow voting member of the community with very strict fiscal discipline, I ask you, after review all the other articles, consider voting in favor of Article 8. I'll do my best to keep it objective and concise. In fact, this article is to replace 2 flagpoles at both Dickinson Library and Belcher Monument north of the town hall. Both locations at one time had flagpoles with flags, but my assumption is that due to lack of maintenance, they were taken down and never replaced. Fact, for the flag committee, I researched and best product for the money. The best products for zero maintenance upkeep are commercially treated satin finish metal poles that come complete with halyard, rope, flags, solar lights, eliminating an additional electrical costs. These poles are capable of sustained high winds. If you look at the Veterans Memorial Monument south of the town hall, you actually notice that flagpole is 35 years old and looks like it's still in great condition. This article requests a maximum of $7,000 to be authorized for this purchase. That's up to max, no more. We are still researching alternative sourcing, and if we can save money in the future, we promise to do so. I'll address other options briefly. When the governor's office ordered flags to half-staff for a death or memorial, the orders include the main administration building of each public institution in the Commonwealth, and they give the example of the town and city halls. I actually validated this with the governor's office. They have no enforcement authority. They're not going to take away your funding if you're not playing right, but they do. The intent is that when the governor orders a flag to have staff, their intent is that towns do comply. And I hope that we as a town would like to comply. The flag committee requests $7,000 out of the free cash of $681,472. which is exactly 0.0102% of this free cash. Fact, the flagpole at Northfield Elementary School was installed in 1942, and during the school day proudly flies our nation's flag. Thank you, NES students. Our flags are rich in history, unity, and pride. Unity of shared values like liberty and justice, pride in nation's rich history and achievement, honor all that served and sacrificed for this great nation and our community. I respectfully ask you to think hard on this, consider the costs in comparison to other expenditures, and vote with your best conscience. Misha was just up here from the library. She actually mentioned grants and other savings. There's probably additional savings from her requests that would more than cover this. So I don't think that there's really a lack of money to actually support this, and I think it should be community and national pride that we fly our nation's colors. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion?
Number 3.
Mr. Gravelin, and then, yep.
Over the year, Joe Gravelin, Old Ferry Road. Over the years, I've had the privilege of sitting across the table from a half a dozen World War II vets. Heard their stories of the Battle of the Bulge, Normandy, getting captured by German soldiers, and the liberation of concentration camps. I can't unknow or pretend I don't know the sacrifices that my father's generation gave up for this country. It's very difficult for me to even think about finding a way around honoring something as simple as a couple of new flagpoles. And I do believe that in good conscience, if they can be purchased cheaper, they will be purchased cheaper. I'm hoping that that other folks may have had the experience to have talked to some of these wonderful old folks who are no longer with us from that particular war, or maybe from other wars. But this is pretty important to the spirit and intent of why we even are able to gather here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Sam Richardson, 64 Highland Avenue. I see that the Finance Committee voted 5 no and 1 abstention. Select Board voted 4-0 to abstain. I'd like some more information on why that is.
Thank you. Further discussion?
Yeah, I can.
Yep.
So I abstained because I still had a question out to the steel shed in Bernardston about pricing. And I did find a price that was less for the pole itself, but it didn't include the flags and the halyards and the solar lights and stuff like that. That was, I paused for that reason because I wanted to make sure that we had brought forth the most cost-effective approach. But I've also wanted to say that we're not going to be putting in the flagpoles till spring, obviously. We're heading into winter. And several people on the flag committee and other people in town are working to put out small grants to see if we can cover it. So the $7,000 is intended to cover what we can't get in other ways.
Thank you. Yep. B?
Yeah, we just felt like we needed more information on this. We weren't against this, at least I wasn't, but that's why I abstained. It was mentioned they were still looking into other avenues and seeing if we could save money. So that was the only reason we refrained from making a recommendation on it. Thank you.
Yes. B?
So I just want to point out that Mr. Henry and others have been diligent and passionate about this topic and brought it before the select board. So we've actually had a couple of meetings on this earlier this, I think last winter. And I wanted to make sure that this effort came forward before the voters. So that's why I'm abstaining. My other concern, which I think was echoed within the Finance Committee discussion, because I actually put this warrant request together with the documentation from the first Flag Committee, and Sarah has been working with the Flag Committee since. What I had put into the request was, and my personal preference would be to have, as we do now, is to improve the building-mounted flag that we already have on Town Hall. And the library staff, when I spoke to them last spring, were willing to do that as well. And so what I had also put in the warrant request going into this process, I did the warrant request early so there'd be plenty of time to have these discussions, was to make sure that we circled back with the library staff and the library trustees, for example, because we do want a collaborative approach. Anyway, there's nothing that anyone is saying that they're not supporting the flag. It's just, is there a cheaper, easier way to do it that actually improves what we're already doing actually on the building? And the library was willing to do that. In thinking about the cost and some of the discussions about the other flagpoles in town, so there's one at EMS, one at fire, and one at the school, is whether or not those would need to be replaced to this standard. So I'm also thinking ahead to what this might cost us in the future. Thank you.
Can I mention one more thing?
Let's go over here first, and then we'll come back to you.
Okay.
Can you pull that closer, Bernie? Can you pull that mic closer?
Sorry about that. Bernie Parada, Finance Committee. The reason the Finance Committee had questions about this article is, one was cost, obviously, we felt that. And then the other thing is, we've heard from a lot of residents who have been looking that the Finance Committee be wise and frugal with town finances. And because of the cost, we thought this was very expensive. And with us, this town itself facing serious, financial pressures with the federal budget and cuts and state cuts, and also with our significant increases in our health insurance for town employees, we felt we should have to be frugal. We're not less patriotic about the issue, but we also look too that at Town Hall, you already have the veterans flag and area in close proximity to Town Hall, and we felt another flagpole potentially on the other side of Town Hall might be a little excessive. There was no issues about with the library. But again, too, we also asked about potential looking at other ways to fund this. Example, donations or grants or fundraiser. And we felt that might be an avenue for the flag committee and the members, or Mr. Henry and his group, to move forward with that. And that is the reason the Finance Committee voted 5-1 not to recommend it.
Yes.
I just want to mention that it was mentioned about mounting a flag at the library. The library is a historical building, and I don't think we want to mount anything on the side of it. That's my opinion. I feel I think we need to put a flag at the library. It needs to be a pole, not on the building. Thank you.
Any further? Yes.
Gary Weiss, Millers Falls Road. I just was curious, if they got a new flagpole with the library, I can see Town Hall, I don't know, you've already got one right there. But if you do get one, has anything been arranged for someone to raise and lower the flag?
Thank you.
Skip Donnell, 20 Hamilton Drive. I'm also your friendly fire chief. First of all, I'd like to thank Bob Henry for his efforts and his duty that he did as a veteran of this country. I'm also one of the town buildings that we have to raise and lower our flags as requested by the governor or by the president. It's always an honor to do so. Every once in a while, we don't get it done in as timely a manner as Bob would like. but he does keep us on our toes. But as far as us flying the colors of this country, I think it is due that we can honor the veterans as best we can, and I'll continue to honor that. And our flagpole was put in for the tercentenary, and is well over 50 years. I believe it's like 60 or 63 years ago. So I support this.
Thank you. Yes, on my left.
Leslie Cameron, 1046 Millis Falls Road. I just have a few facts I just wanted for people to remember. Those who responded to the call: Vietnam, 115 Northfielders; Korea, 112 Northfielders; World War II, 265 Northfielders; the Civil War, 40 Northfielders; special conflicts, 15, 16. Also, the 1637 Pequot War, King Philip War of 1675, King William's War of 1689, Queen Anne's War of 1702, the French and Indian War of 1754, American Revolution 1775, the War of 1812, the Mexican-American War of 1846, the Spanish-American of 1898. That's a lot of Northfielders. It's a lot of veterans. The Mass General Law, Part 1, Chapter 1, Section 2, Chapter 2, Section 6, it states that the American flag shall be displayed on main or administration building on each public institution. And I believe our town hall knows that, because right outside our town hall right now is a flag sticking out of the side of the building with a little black bow at the end of it to show that we are, instead of lowering it. So I know that our town hall is aware of this. There's no flag outside the library. The memorial flag, in case anyone has any questions, that's on the side of the building is actually maintained locally by our local veterans, and it's actually supported and administered by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs and not the town. So why are we here? What if people vote against this article? I was told we're voting for this because it wasn't included on any budget. But $3,500 perhaps might be assigned, hopefully, to the library to get this done. $35 will be assigned to the town hall. Maybe they could split it up with the police department, because they're also required. And I think we have to ask ourselves, if those who responded to the call, they should deserve better than a $24.99 flag and pole set with a black bow hanging on the end of it. They deserve more than that. They deserve much more than that. We've got to figure out how to pay for it, and it's not too expensive. $7,000, you're splitting it over 3 different departments: the police department, the town, and the library. And if you can't afford $3,500 or $7,000 to support all of these veterans who are then, it's embarrassing. And we really need to vote for these flagpoles. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, on my left.
Mark Given, 14 Carlton Street. My family has served this country for quite a while. Both my grandfathers were in World War I. My father served in the Philippines in World War II. My brother was killed in action in Vietnam. I served in Desert Storm. I have 2 other brothers that spent both 6 years each in the Navy. To kind of put things into perspective for you, there is no cost here for the town. We lost a member of my family. And in comparison to that, there's no cost here to the town. I can't believe that this is an issue. I also will put something into perspective for you. The flags that go up on Main Street every holiday, 41 of them, I do, and my children do. I have taken thousands of dollars out of my own pocket to pay for that. And thanks to the VFW and others in this town, we have received other donations. But that is something that I do out of my pocket and my time for the love of my country and this town and its community. $7,000 for 2 flagpoles that'll be here for the next 50 years. That's about $140-something a year. I didn't get up here to shame you, but I think you get my point. Thank you.
Please, no applause, folks. We'll have plenty of time to vote in a minute. Yep, sir.
Shane Duclos, 913 Miller's Falls Road. Just to put this in perspective, thank you to all the veterans in the room. We spent over $100,000 on a bathroom renovation last year in City Hall. Get this done.
Please hold your applause, folks. Any further debate? Yes, we have somebody in the back. If you can come on down to the front.
Thank you. Joseph Seiler, Millers Falls Road. Besides the flags that were already mentioned that are already in place, I know there are 2 others, one in front of St. Patrick's Catholic Church, and there's another in, I've forgotten the other church, also on Main Street. I'm the son of a soldier. I grew up on Army bases. My father was a veteran of World War II and Vietnam. My dearly beloved uncle was a veteran of Korea. The flag represents what they fought for. I say with all due respect to every veteran here, the flag represents what you fought for and what we all love. With all due respect, it does not represent you. Thank you.
Thank you. Further debate?
If I can.
We got somebody at the mic first, and then.
Sure.
Good.
Yep, you. Yep.
Bob Henry again. Yeah, I just like, there was a very good question. That was the delineation between the flags. You know, we have 2 at the town hall. The one from the Veterans Organization, the one at the monument right now that has fatalities, killed in actions, and our names of guys that have served in combat, that flag is sacred to military members. So we right now, out of a courtesy of the town, we will raise it at the governor's request and fly it at half-staff.
Excuse me, I do apologize, but we did hit our 3-minute limit for you speaking on this item in the earlier. I just realized that it was 3 minutes per item, not 3 minutes per time at the mic. I apologize.
Frank
Yes, sir.
Froman, 9 Railroad Station Road. Just to give you a heads up, I'm a 37-year veteran of the United States Army, served in Iraq. And what Bob was trying to say is that flag on the memorial side is dedicated to those that gave their life and served for the town of Northfield. It is all, we take care of that, Bob, I, Ray, and the flag committee, we take care of that flag. So that is separate from what the town is. And I've traveled around Massachusetts quite a bit, and in every single town hall, I see an American flag and a Massachusetts flag. And I drive by our town hall, and I see that little flag sticking out there. It's appalling to us, especially veterans. Do you know how many veterans, when they die, have a flag draped over their casket? A lot, every single one of them. And we do it, the VFW does it, does funerals free of charge. We don't charge anything, we go there, we do the firing detail, fold the flag, whatever's needed. And all we're asking for is a doggone little flag. But yet, I'm not gonna hammer you too bad, select board, but they got a $9,000 table? Come on, a $7,000 flag for veterans and the American flag?
Is there further debate? I will just call for folks' attention that I think the last 8 or 9 speakers have all been in favor. Is there anybody who would like to speak in opposition?
Hi.
If not, I'm sorry. Yep, okay.
Hi, Morgan O'Brien, Finance Committee. I definitely appreciate the time and effort that this committee has taken to put together this proposal and answer all of the questions that I peppered them with when they came to visit us in Finance Committee. I absolutely am hearing that the town wants this to happen and that this is something that we want to make sure that we find a way to do. And a lot of my questions and reservations come from what happens after this flagpole, these 2 flagpoles are erected in town. What does it mean when it doesn't get lowered? Who is responsible for lowering this flagpole or this flag? After a major snowstorm and the flag is wrecked, who is responsible for finding the funds and making sure that a replacement flag has been put up? I think that it makes sense to do this, and I don't think that it totally makes sense to do it right now, where we're spending 1% of our free cash so early in the fiscal year. I think that we have opportunities for other funding sources, and I do want the conversation to continue so that we don't lose this thread, and so that we can get these flags put up in town as the town members would like. I just want to make sure that there's a full and complete plan before we start that.
Thank you.
Moderator?
This gentleman was coming down to the mic and then to the select board. Yep.
Paul Cameron, Millers Falls Road. I believe it's a little petty to worry about who's going to raise and lower the flag. First of all, if it has a light on it, it does not have to be lowered or raised. The only time is if for some reason it has to be flown at half staff. And if you can't find a staff member in the town hall and the library to do that, I will volunteer my time to get down there and do it myself. Thank you.
I wanted to call for a vote.
There's a motion to move the question. Is there a second? Thank you. It's non-debatable, but it does require a vote. All's in favor of moving the question, please signify by saying yay. Yay. Any opposed, please say nay. Passes unanimously. We now move immediately to a vote on the question. All's in favor of the motion, please signify by saying yay. Yay. All opposed, please say nay. Yay. Clearly passes. Article 9 on a transfer of funds.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town transfer $12,500 from free cash to reimburse the fiscal year 2026 reserve fund account.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Debate on the item.
Okay, this is, we were approached around end of August, September, and this was an unforeseen need, which is an allowable use of the reserve fund. And what had happened was usually the state gives grants for consultants, for fire departments. Our chief will be retiring by the end of the summer. And we wanted to get a consultant to memorize the policies and procedures for the past 50 years and help us get ready for the next fire chief and their leadership. So the state pulled the rug under us because they didn't put it in their state budget for these grants. So of course we need to start this sooner than later. And given that a quarter of our reserve fund has just been used to help set this up, we needed to backfill it.
Thank you. Further debate? Seeing none? All's in favor, please say yay. Yay. Any opposed, please say nay. Clearly passes. Article 10, Sewer Enterprise Fund.
Good evening, Karen Boudreau, Sewer Commission. Chief Isaac is not with us tonight because he'll be getting up bright and early tomorrow morning. Articles 10 and 11 go back to the beginning of September, and they are somewhat tied together. So I want to start with Article 10. Mr. Moderator, I move that the town appropriate $3,060 from the Sewer Enterprise Fund to pay for the wastewater treatment department costs for the installation of a manhole on Moody Street.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Any discussion or debate? Seeing none? All's in favor, please signify by saying yea. Yay. All opposed, please say nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Article 11.
Article 11, in September, there was a small sanitary sewer overflow.
If we could just have the motion first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Moderator, I move that the town appropriate $9,000 from the Sewer Enterprise Fund to pay for wastewater treatment department costs for the Moody Street pipe repairs.
Is there a second? Second. Thank you. Discussion or debate? And you can give that background now if you want as part of the discussion.
We had a sewer main on Moody Street that was pierced by a utility pole a few years ago. It wasn't discovered until somebody moved into one of the houses on that main, and that is why we are asking to just move this from the enterprise fund. If the insurance does cover the cost of this, then the $9,000 will roll back into the enterprise fund on July 1st, 2026.
Thank you. Further debate? Seeing none? All's in favor, please say yea. Yay. Any opposed, please say nay. Passes unanimously. Article 12, Sewer Enterprise Fund.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town appropriate $20,000 from the Sewer Enterprise Fund to pay for flow metering expenses for the wastewater treatment plant.
Is there a second? Second. Discussion? Debate? Seeing none? All in favor, please signify by saying yea. Yay. All opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Article 13, Sewer Enterprise Fund.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town appropriate $12,000 from the Sewer Enterprise Fund to pay for the purchase of an effluent water sampler for the wastewater treatment plant.
Second. Thank you. Second. Discussion? Seeing none? All in favor, please signify by saying yea. Yay. All opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Article 14, revolving funds for the Recreation Department.
Stacy Bond, 555 Pine Meadow Road, Director of the Northfield Recreation Commission. Mr. Moderator, I move that the town amend the Town of Northfield General Bylaws pursuant to the provisions of Section 53E half of Chapter 44 of the Massachusetts General Laws as amended at annual town meeting on May 7th, 2018, Article 13, by inserting a new category to the revolving funds for the Recreation Department, Great River Challenge, specifying the departmental receipts to be credited to the fund, the departmental purposes or program for which the fund may be expended, and the entity authorized to expend the fund, and to see if the town will vote to fix the maximum amount that may be spent during fiscal year 2026, beginning on July 1st, 2025, for the revolving fund established in the town bylaws in accordance with the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, as listed in the chart above.
Second.
Thank you. There is a second. Discussion or debate?
Real quick, the Northfield Recreation Commission became the new home this year for the Great River Challenge with the unfortunate disbandment of the Northfield Kiwanis. But before I continue, a huge thank you to all past members of the Northfield Kiwanis for their years of community service, especially for local youth. The Kiwanis helped build the Great River Challenge, a yearly triathlon that happens on the first Saturday of every October at Northfield Mountain for the last 10 years. With this separate revolving account, we can keep better track of all incoming funds and expenses. The Great River Challenge has been our largest assistance to parents each year to be able to send their kids to our out-of-school programs.
Thank you. Further discussion or debate? Yes, B.
I'm just going to note that in case it wasn't clear, we're just establishing the fund, and it has a limit. We are not asking for any money associated with this request. Thanks.
Thank you. Any further debate? Seeing none? Would all is in favor, please signify by saying yea. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm short, but I'm not that short. Tori Luksha, Millers Falls Road. I was just wondering why it has a limit. The mic's off.
You have to put your face right up to it.
I was just wondering why there's a limit. Yeah, why is there a limit? Why is there a limit for $35,000? I was just a question. Oh, it's,
Our
it's
town council can go next if he
annual amount
wishes.
by law. Oh, okay, thanks.
Does somebody want to speak to that where everybody can hear?
They did.
It's the annual amount by law that can't carry over.
Did everybody hear that? It's the amount that is carried by law for that particular, for the revolving fund.
Thank you. Returning back to the vote. All's in favor, please signify by saying yay. Yay. All opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Seeing no other business before the meeting, we are hereby adjourned. Go. Well, that was 65 minutes. I said
I think the thing about the right, totally. That's what I was about to say. I think that's the. Did we vote on that as a town? Did we vote on the desk?
Can't win them all. That's okay. Hey, these are things I don't mind losing at all. I just want it to go well. Yeah, that's.